Hello, fellow backtrackers. I'm Alex McClellan.
And I'm Mason McClellan.
And we are the Backtrack Brothers. And today we're gonna slow it down. We're gonna take a little break from our normal scheduled programming, and we're gonna do a little summer catch-up episode.
We are.
Yeah, you might have noticed we've been operating around like 75, 80% optimization speed, whatever, efficiency, whatever. And that's because we've been pretty busy this summer, and we want to fill you guys in on not only some of the movies and TV shows that we've been watching this summer, but we'll give you a little fill in on what's going on in our lives. So we're gonna save that for the end because we know most of you are here for the movie stuff. So,
but then if you care about us, then you can stick to the end. But only if you really care.
Only if you truly, truly care. So first off, we'll start talking about movies. Mason, do you want to kick us off with the first movie that you saw over the summer?
I will. So out of all the movies that came out in theaters this summer, either Barbie or Oppenheimer, I've yet to see any of those, but instead, I've seen Haunted Mansion.
No, I thought we talked about this. You're not supposed to see that movie.
I don't think my parents watched that video though, and they wanted to see it.
I think I saw the original Eddie Murphy version with them in theaters when I was a kid. They should have known better. I take that back. Our parents are bad with movie taste. They have horrific movie taste. What's kind of like your general reaction?
So, it's mainly a comedy.
Yeah.
You can just look at the cast and see who's in it. Danny DeVito being one of the stars, comedy-wise, in this movie.
I do love Danny DeVito.
Comedy was hit or miss.
Okay.
There was an odd amount of jokes about, products that exist in real life. There was where'd you get this candle? I got it from Yankee Candles at Target. Or I got this thing from Costco or something.
Okay.
They had so much product placement themed jokes.
Right.
So it kind of...
That's a rough... Yeah.
It was very distracting. There was an odd amount. If you watch the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it was almost
on how much they reference Target, Costco, Starbucks.
Right. So this movie was almost a quarter just advertisements.
Seemed like it.
Yeah. That's pretty interesting. Yeah. And that's Disney, right? And that's it was PG, right? So I'm probably not very edgy.
I think it was PG-13.
Okay. All right.
Which,
not too bad.
just so they could curse a few times.
Yeah. But they didn't really juice it. They didn't really get everything.
It wasn't scary at all for it being a Halloween movie.
Oh, there was no scares?
It was not scary. There were just ghosts, ooh, spooky ghosts. But besides, I think there were barely any, I don't think there's even a jump scare.
Yeah. Well, you remember this is based on a roller, a ride.
Yeah.
That's what started this whole movie.
Yes.
Franchise, apparently.
Yeah. Which, another point I wanted to bring up is for it being a Halloween movie, why would they release it in July?
Well, so I will say, the summer is a good, you'll see a lot of horror movies released around this time. But to your point, I think for it being a family-friendly movie, they should have capitalized on releasing it during a season where families go out to watch those types of movies. Summer horror, I think, R-rated, high school kids going out to watch a scary slasher movie.
Yeah.
That's what I think of summer horror. To your point, I think they would have been better served to have it come out in October. That being said, I don't know how much would have saved this movie. I forgot it was even coming out.
And also, they released it a week after Barbie and Oppenheimer came out.
Yeah, that's a tough follow.
So that is a tough follow. Your options are Barbie, Oppenheimer, or Haunted Mansion.
Right. Yeah, because even if you're going more family friendly, you're gonna go the Barbie route.
Yeah.
I mean, people would probably rather watch Barbie for a fourth time than watch Haunted Mansion for a first time.
All right.
That's good.
So.
You want to do another one, or do you want to?
No, I have a few more notes actually.
Okay, sorry.
I have a lot. So the main character of this movie, who is played by Lakeith Stanfield, who was in
don't know him.
He was in Get Out. But
wait, who was he in Get Out? Was he the friend?
I think he was one of the friends.
Not the TSA guy.
He wasn't that, no.
But he was probably the other guy who was taken over previously. That's
I can't remember.
You
I haven't seen Get Out.
He's the one who freaks out. Get out! He's that one. He's that guy.
I think so.
Yeah.
But surprisingly, he put a lot of effort into this movie.
Yeah.
Emotional moments were he hit hard with him, but he had just nothing off the script to go with. So
right.
They would make they're making pop culture references when talking about his girlfriend's death. And like, but he was like crying. Like you could tell he was really trying.
There was like a real conflict of emotion.
But there was just no script.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's easy to say, well, it's a kids movie, but I would say people should have higher standards than that. I totally agree with you. But it's funny when you see like a really serious actor trying to perform in a really shitty movie.
Yeah,
I'm going to talk about that with a movie that I watched this summer. We'll talk about that later.
They also gave the main character social anxiety. Like they just like brought it up.
I feel like that's a lot. That's happening a lot.
But they didn't like do anything to show. Like they just threw it in so you'd feel bad for him. But like when he's like interacting with people, he seems fine. Like he's cracking jokes. He's smiling. Like he's being normal.
So he's like the guy. I feel like everyone's got a friend that like is completely normal. They're like, I have anxiety, but
they're OCD.
Yeah,
it's just like they're like fine.
It's like, no, you're nervous. You're fine. You're okay. Get a fucking like one of those grippy things or a fucking fidget spinner.
The pop
one of those little pop strips. Yeah, make sure you don't look like a 5-year-old playing with one of those.
This movie is also over 2 hours long.
That's way too much.
For a haunted mansion movie about a theme park, they put somehow over 2 hours of material in this.
Yeah, that's a problem with both editing, where you need to be able to make choices and say, we don't need this Costco joke, we don't need this Target joke. Maybe trim that down a little bit, and highlight the better acting if there is some.
And the girl from Barbarian, her name is Rosario Dawson.
Yeah.
She is like the mom of the kid who lives in the mansion.
Okay.
And she is given nothing.
Yeah.
Like she has no growth, barely any like heroic moments. She's just like the mom character.
Yeah.
And that's all she is.
You might be getting to the point, Mason, where you're gonna start being to the point where you can't even watch kids movies. Because I feel like you get to a certain, not that you can't watch kids movies, but like it takes a special one to really stand out to you. Because you see in so many of these undeveloped films that they all have those types of weaknesses.
But then also when they have like this cast that makes me more inclined to see it, they just completely fumble it. So I just don't get it.
What did Dad and Kim say about the movie? Did they like it?
They said it was fun.
Yeah, that's exactly the shit they say. Yeah, never gonna say a bad thing. It was fun. It was, it was well intentioned. Yeah, but it sucks. They intended for it to be good, but it sucks.
Even the plot, like it's so confusing when the ghost can like attack them, and when they can't. Like for some reason, this one room in the house is safe, and it's never explained.
Interesting.
Maybe someone comments can tell me if there's like some like deleted scene or something. But from what I've got from seeing the movie and doing my research, there's this one safe room that is just safe for no reason. The ghost can't get him in there.
They never explain there's like, some holy trinity.
Yeah, but then when they step on this one spot, that one spot for some reason, everything goes wild. So.
Interesting.
I don't know. It's very confusing.
That doesn't sound very similar to the Haunted Mansion I remember as a kid. But that being said, I haven't watched it in a very long time.
So then you might have to watch this one.
No. For the first thing I want to talk about, movie related, is this wasn't seeing a movie for the first time for me, but this was going to a live screening of a little movie called The Room, which, for those of you, this is the widescreen edition DVD. Bought it on Amazon. It's fantastic. Everyone should have one. This will someday be handed down to Mason like a family.
I'm honored.
You should be honored. If you don't know about The Room,
I can hold it so you can use your hands.
Yeah, which I need. I talk with my hands. So, hold it up so they can fucking see it. So that's too high. Way too high.
No, I'm just gonna set it down.
That's fine. Be careful with my DVD. Do you know how much it would cost to replace that? At least $13. I know you don't have it.
Yeah.
Taking out your birthday funds. So, The Room. I've explained this to Mason before, but to simplify it for everybody, basically, The Room is an independent film, basically just funded by this one guy. No one really knows how he got the money, and he just got his friends and random actors to help out and make it. And it's one of the most atrocious movies of all time, but it's one of those where it's so amazingly bad that it's fantastic, and I love it. And it's grown a complete cult following. It's been going for, I think this was made in the 90s, so it's been going for 20 plus years now. And basically they do live screenings where one of the actors who was in it, Greg Sestero, who wrote the book called The Disaster Artist, which was about the making of this film, which you probably have heard of.
I have heard.
Because there has since been a movie based on that book by James Franco and his brother. So I think people are aware based on that. But this is the originating movie that started all of that cult, cinema, following all that shit, right? There's a theater near me, which I don't want to disclose our location too much, but it's a very classic theater that is in another cult classic film from the 50s. I'll toss that much out there. Anyway, I got to go and watch it there with my wife, and it's very much like seeing the Rocky Horror Picture Show, where at certain points in the movie, you're supposed to yell out certain things or throw objects.
It's like a private event where like everyone comes just to see this movie.
Exactly. It's all people that just love this movie, except for, I think, Greg asked in the beginning. He comes down and does a Q&A in the beginning and at the end, and he asks, he said, how many people are here that haven't seen The Room? I think 5 people out of the auditorium of, 200, 300 people raised their hand, and everyone in the room went, ooh. Because it's like, that's a mistake.
Yeah.
Because here's the problem. Everyone's yelling and screaming and stuff. It's a lot of fun if you've seen the movie, but if you haven't, you can't hear the movie because everyone's yelling. And throwing plastic spoons and shit. It's fucking ridiculous. But it was the first time I went to a screening of The Room, and it was an absolute blast. It was so cool to get to see Greg Cicero talk. He did a signing afterwards, so got to do a little one-on-one time and get him to sign. Now, I forgot to bring my DVD with me, so I'm going to bring it with me next year. He does it annually where we are, so I'm going to do it again next year.
Did you get him to sign anything?
I didn't get him to sign anything. We went to dinner before, and we drank a lot, and we went to the show, and it was late, and I'm 31, and it's I can't stay out late, man. I was tired. I'm not waiting in line to get an autograph. I'm not fucking 12. I'll wait, but next time I will. I regretted it. The next morning, I was like, fuck, I should have gotten something signed. Like, a t-shirt or something. But anyway, I would highly suggest if The Room is screening around you, please find a way to watch the movie. It isn't streaming anywhere. He doesn't allow for it to be streamed. You have to buy the DVD or know somebody that has the DVD. That's what I'm saying. It's a big fucking deal. That's why you don't throw it across the room like a little
Will
kid.
you be mad if this is worth like a shit ton of money when I'm like older? If I
It's not. It's It's such a cult following, but when we die off and we're old, this movie will be forgotten. As sad as it is, that's the reality of life.
I mean, we thought the same thing about like Lego Darth Maul pieces, and some of them are like $12,000, and it's just a Lego Darth Maul.
Yeah, but Star Wars is still like a thing. Like The Room is not Star Wars. Tommy Wiseau is not the same as Disney Empire. Yeah.
Anything about the movie?
I'm sorry. I really should have led with that. So
because I know nothing about it.
So I'm gonna do a little read of the synopsis, so you cut this in earlier and cut it in a way that makes sense. So let me just give you a little bit of a story, a little background. This is the description on the DVD case that I'm reading. This isn't me just making up some bullshit review. The Room is an electrifying American black comedy about love, passion, betrayal, and lies. It's what happens in real life. You could be with your loving woman and all of a sudden, boom! She's in bed with your best friend or a family member. The Room depicts the depths of friendships and relationships in one's life and realizes life's real and most asked question, can you ever really trust anyone? Are you ready to see reflections of your life?
No, I don't want to.
I love this movie so much. I can't. So at some point over this next year, because I think they do it usually every year around June, we're going to cover this movie and we're going to do a full movie review. And you and I are going to go to the screening next year. We can leave Lauren. She doesn't need to come. You and me are going to go have a nice little brothers night and go enjoy this movie. And I'll teach you ahead of time what all the cues and stuff are so we can, enjoy it.
Are you going to crash your car on the way home? Too soon? Too soon?
That's so earlier you were talking about actors who are good actors trying to be good but in a shitty movie.
Yes.
You were talking about Haunted Mansion, right? A movie that I watched recently that has a very similar situation is I watched the first Twilight movie.
Oh no, Alex.
No, so listen. So this came out, it came out in 2008. I was a junior in high school. I was senior in high school when this came out. So obviously at that point, I was like, I'm too fucking cool for this. Like all the girls in school were reading it and they're like into the movies and yada yada. Oh, Team Jacob, Team blah, 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 right? So I was like, all right, well, this is lame, like whatever, this is dumb.
Which it is.
But there was always something in the back of my head, like, I gotta check this out. Like, I gotta check this out. It's werewolves versus vampires. Is there not? I was like, there's gotta be some cool aspect to it. And maybe once I get over my toxic masculinity, which you will someday, I will take the time to go back and give this movie a chance. So, I'm sitting on the couch and I'm going through movies with my wife, and we're just trying to find something light. And I was, Twilight comes on. I was like, babe, should I give Twilight a shot? And she like openly laughs because she knows me. She's like, do you really want to do that? I was like, can we is it worth it? Like, well, I at least like it. Do you know what I mean? And she said, maybe. She was like, it's really bad though. I was like, let's do it. So I just turned on the first one. And the person I want to talk about is, and we've seen this now, Robert Pattinson. You can see the seeds. You can see his acting skills at times, not throughout the whole bit. There is one particular bit when he catches her scent. First of all, have you seen this movie?
I've not.
Okay, so there's the first part where he catches, I don't think I'm spoiling anything, he's a vampire. And there's a certain point where the girl walks past a fan and the fan blows her scent towards him. And I genuinely don't know what they're trying to convey. He either shit his pants or came in his pants, but I can't figure out which. And they should look different.
Wait, what?
So he caught her scent in his nose and reacted with this reaction.
Miss Swan. Hi.
So I know this movie is like, it's bad.
It's really bad. Yeah. So what do you think? Do you think he came in his pants or do you think he shit his pants?
Because he's like a physical, like...
Yeah, like a jolt, right? Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's like a shiver down your spine.
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure which end it was coming out of. But I agree with you. And it turns out that what it is, spoiler alert, I don't know. Do you want me to not spoil this?
You can spoil it all you want.
So what that is actually he's so attracted to her scent that he wants to just devour her. Like just drink all of her blood. It's like the most delicious thing he's ever smelled in his life.
So do girls think that's like hot? Like,
it's fucking sexy as shit.
Is that why they like want?
So that is like a thing though. So people do have pheromones and certain humans are attracted to other humans' pheromones.
Yeah.
And that's not something that you're like, you don't consciously decide I like this person's pheromones. It's just a natural thing. Yeah. Well, so what's attractive about it is that he is so in love with her that he wants to fight back against that and not devour her and just love her as a human. Mm-hmm. But to do that, he has to like to kiss her and not bite her is like crazy for him to be able to do.
Yeah.
And so for women, it's like, he wants me so bad. He's willing to risk it all, including killing me. Isn't that adorable? And yeah, I agree. It's really fucking stupid. But that's teenage girl shit, man. Like that's all like, we're gonna live together. And like, well, that's why girls are like, become a vampire and live with him forever. And isn't that the dream? Be with Robert Pattinson for the rest of my life. Oh my God.
I was dodging your hand there.
I know. There's some spit flying too. It's okay.
I'm ready.
The worst part about the Twilight movie is how it's shot.
Really?
It is horrific. It is, there's so many times where I forget, there's some proper film technique name for this, but so much of the movie is shot like at an angle. Like it's not straight on. Everything's like at like a little 15 degree, 20 degree angle. And it drives me fucking nuts. There's a blue filter over the
it looks
entire
like blue
movie.
and green.
It's a total filter over the whole freaking thing. Now it's supposed to it's based in Washington where it's always cloudy. It's always Like come on, man. Like that looks terrible.
Yeah, they're like in school and it's like green.
Right, exactly.
It doesn't make sense.
Right, exactly. And I'm colorblind, so it looks like a really gross blue. So imagine it's even worse. So, but this was, so here's the thing. That was very common in the year of the 2000s. That was just kind of that era. Like, another movie that comes to my mind of like that is Final Destination.
Yeah.
Like that movie's super blue or green or whatever the fuck it is. But it's super tinted is what I'm getting at. And it's just, nowadays, you don't see that as much. So it feels very dated when you see it. I like Robert Pattinson as an actor. He does as much as he can with what's given. But I hate Kristen Stewart, or whatever the hell her name is, the girl that stars in it. She might be my least favorite actress of all time.
Just from this movie?
No, in general. 'Cause I've seen her in Adventureland. And people are like, oh, well, what about Adventureland? It's the same shit. She's a little bit more adult and a tiny bit more assertive, but like, same shit. But what I really want to talk about Twilight is, so there's that whole aspect of just that cinematography and how it's shot. The acting of the lead is terrible. And then the music half the time doesn't match with what's going on.
Yeah.
So I have like this there's gonna be like a sad part going on where they're like staring at each other. It's supposed to be emotional. And then it's just like Jimi Hendrix in the background. Just it's like Jack Black's back there fucking doing solos while they're trying to like, nibble on each other's ears. It's weird.
I can't wait to see it. I'm watching it once in my life.
So I don't want to completely spoil it, but so I turned to my wife after we're finished watching it, and I was like, that was fun to hate watch, but I will never watch any of the sequels. I will never rewatch that movie. I will never let my daughter watch this movie. If I have a daughter and she turns, I hope she turns 18. If she turns 18, then she can decide to ruin her life with Twilight. Yeah. But I will refuse to let my young daughter believe that shit is remotely okay. All the behavior in that movie is horrific. The lead actress is like, that character is one of the dumbest protagonists. Just wandering through life and everything's happening to her. She's like, oh, woe is me. What do I do? I'm in love with a vampire. It's fucking stupid.
So you won't be watching any of the sequels?
I won't. And so because I wasn't, I asked my wife, I said, hey, give me a little heads up on what happens next. And check this out, dude. There's these evil vampires, basically, and so it's illegal to have vampire babies. You're not allowed to bite babies. But this fucking rogue vampire is so mad she wants to get revenge because her partner got killed by Robert Pattinson or whatever.
Yeah.
And so she starts making vampire babies, and they apparently look horrific. And then there's this vampire baby army that gets involved, right? So there's all of this, and then, so long story short, so that's an aspect which I was just like, vampire babies, that's a thing. And and then on top of that, so it ends up being, I thought, it was between Bella, who's the lead girl, and obviously Jacob is the werewolf and fucking Edward is the vampire, right? So I thought, when there was Team Jacob and Team Edward, I thought it was legit competition between these two guys. But it turns out that's bullshit. It turns out what's going on is that Edward was always in the lead, always will be in the lead, and he was always gonna come out on top. And Jacob is a fucking beta male who he was the best friend who gets dragged along the whole time and likes her, but she doesn't like him back. And then in the end, you know how he gets him back?
How?
You know how he gets him back? So check this out. So ends up that Edward and Bella, they end up getting married and they have a baby. Right? They have a baby.
Okay. And
so they originally, there's this vampire government cult, whatever, and they're the ones that are like, oh, vampire babies are illegal. And Bella and Edward have a baby after they get married, right? What Jacob does, to be a little fucking dick, it's a little girl. He imprints on her. I don't know what that physically means, but somehow he imprints on her, which means that he's tagging her to be his future wife. He does that to the vampire baby of the woman he wanted to be with but never got to be with because she chose a vampire.
And he was basically just like, you're gonna marry me, so I'm tagging you, and we're guaranteed to be together.
He tagged the daughter. He tagged the baby, and he was like, I'm gonna take your baby, and just fucking put a thumb on her forehead, stamped her, and how fucked up is that?
That's crazy. When did the movie come out?
It's been out. Oh, when did it come out?
Yeah.
I think the series came out from 2008 to 2012. It was a really popular book series, and my wife told me she even she read the first 2 books and only finished the series because she felt like she needed to know how it ends up. But man, there's a part of me, it's so crazy, I kind of want to watch the other ones, but at the same time, it's too much of a time commitment. They're all 2+ hours.
Yeah,
and I don't think it's going to get much better.
That's 8 hours of your life you're never getting back.
Yeah, that's a lot of time. So maybe you and Lauren could do that, and then report back what your thoughts are. I
kind of want to hate watch it.
Yeah, I started the research, you follow through with the rest. Yeah, I like it. I'm gonna keep rolling because Mason didn't do much homework outside of.
Hey, I just haven't watched movies.
Yeah. Well, it says a lot about who's running this goddamn channel. So what I want to talk about, and you might have seen these. Have you seen any of the Paranormal Activity movies?
No, I've heard about them.
Oh, dude.
Are they actually scary?
Oh, dude. So, the story of the Paranormal Activity movies, to me, is I love them. So they were coming out, once again, I was in high school. We were going to see them in theaters, dude. Like, it was scary as shit. And just, I think found footage movies, especially in that pitch black theater, is just so freaking scary. It just feels so raw and visceral, and it allows them to play with effects and everything really well. Although with the Paranormal Activity, the earlier ones, these first 3 I'm talking about, which are the ones, once again, I only watched the first 3 on this rewatch, and I stopped at the 4th. Mason, you might ask, why would you stop at the 4th, Alex?
Alex, why would you stop at the 4th?
Because it sucks. So, me and my wife, we wanted to watch the whole series because I've never watched past the 4th one. I saw all 4 of the first 4 in theaters. The 4th one, I remember leaving and being like, this is the cliff. Like, this is the series.
So it was like
falling.
Was like the first better than the second, and then?
Ooh, so that's a good question.
Like,
if I had to rank them, I would have to go. I would go with the first one first. I'd probably go number 3 second. The number 3, and the reason I would do that is number 3 gets the most creative with like its camera work and shit. Where the guy actually like he attaches like a camera to an oscillating fan, so the camera's going back. So you're watching this and you're like, oh shit, what's going on in the back? And it comes back and something's there, and it goes, oh dude, it's so good. So like that's just the type of example. So the camera setups get more elaborate as the series goes on, essentially. So yeah, what I really love about them is that they age well too. Now the tech is kind of old, and for example, like they time jump around in this series because there's really following at the heart of it one family that's being kind of.
But there is like a story though.
There's a whole story, and all the movies are connected.
Yeah.
Even the ones that don't appear to be connected at first end up being connected, and that's what I want to get to. But the 4th one is such a pain in my ass that I can't.
What's so bad about the 4th? It's just not scary.
It's just such a big drop off. Yeah, it's not as scary. It starts to use CGI more, so like there's like a shadow guy. Like, and it's like before it used to be cool shit, right? So you'd have like the camera showing, and for example, there was an earthquake, so some dust like came down, and in the camera you can barely see the dust hit like the head of the ghost, like just barely. And now it's like you see a full shadow figure walking around the room. It's like it just takes away
from
what the series was.
Yeah,
it just wasn't. It was becoming a CGI fest. I hated that. And it wasn't as scary, and so. But now, going back to it, it re-emphasized like 1 through 3 are awesome. Even though I ranked them 1, 3, 2, I would really suggest any of them. You need to watch them in order.
How about the ones after 4, like 5, 6?
So here's the problem: I haven't watched beyond that because I've watched the 4th one and it always bummed me out. I wanted to go because I've heard 5, 6, which is like the marked ones and other ones, they get back on track after 4. Now you have to be into it. Now I think there is more CGI. They just it's modern. It's modern day, right? Yeah. So it's gonna have that. But from what I've heard and seen, they did a better job of it. And you know, I've spent enough time since I watched like the content that gave me all that information. So I'm fresh. I want to watch it. That's why we started this rewatch. But this 4th one is just I just need to battle through it. I just need to watch it and just do it and just get it over with so I can get to the new ones. Yeah, that's a big thing. But I really wanted to bring them up in case anyone on this channel hasn't heard of them, or you haven't heard of them, or like they are awesome. And they're usually, I think they're on Prime Video right now. So if you want to go on there,
how are they in length?
They're short, and that's another thing that's great about them. Like especially the first one, I think is like an hour 20, hour 30.
Really?
It's like it's very tight. It's tight, but it's well done. It's very fast paced. You're not just sitting around staring at shit.
Especially if it's like found footage, some of that can be pretty draining if it's too long or too drawn out.
Exactly. Versus like, I think about something like the Blair Witch, where even though there are segments where you're just walking around the woods and stuff, that movie's like an hour and 15 minutes. So you can, it's even though it has those parts, it's not too long of a movie. But no, I think these movies are very well paced. The acting in it is good too. You believe generally that these people are families, that they are going through this stuff, and just the scares in the 3rd one, and really the 3rd one sticks in my head the most. Like the first one just kind of set the standard, you know what I mean? It is still really scary and really dark, but the 3rd one, the ending of the 3rd movie is one of the like most spine-chilling endings for me, just for me personally.
Which also, it makes, if it's the 3rd ending is really good, it sets up a high expectation for the 4th one, so that's probably why it was so. Are you jamming out to a rock music?
I'm just so in agreement with you.
The more in agreement, the more head movement.
I'm basically realizing that this should have just ended as a trilogy. It should have, and that's how I truly in my heart feel. And I guess I need to get over that emotion and realize It's more.
It's kind of like I'm bringing up a completely really similar movie, Toy Story.
Yeah.
So,
I haven't seen Toy Story 4 because I decided I'm stopping at 3.
3 ended in a really good way to where they didn't need a 4th one.
That's
and
why
while the 4th one isn't the worst movie in the world, it just didn't need to happen.
But the world needed Sporky. Is that his name?
It's Sporky.
Yeah, I haven't seen the movie. I just guessed it.
He's not even a toy.
No, he's not even a toy. Well, what's the definition of a toy? Huh? This DVD could be a toy.
Yeah, you could be a toy.
Who's to say I'm not? All right, so I just mentioned a TV show. Let's just use that opportunity to just blow into our next section and talk about something we don't usually talk about. TV shows. So Mason, why don't you lead us off? What's a TV show that you've kind of been like getting in on? It could be old or new.
So just to preface, I have never been a TV person. I like watching a movie and kind of being done with it. Yeah. Right? The 2 entries I have are actually movie or shows that you've recommended to me.
Nice, I like it.
The first one is Nathan For You.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
So we just renewed our HBO Max or Max subscription. So, and that's what Nathan For You is on. Dude. So I've gotten through the first season. Yes. I think I'm a few episodes into the second. I don't want to spoil anything. Yeah. But it's so funny. Yes. It's genius how like funny it is.
Yes. And for people who don't know, basically the premise is this guy named Nathan Fielder goes in and he basically consults for small businesses and tries to help them grow and expand.
But he gives really bad business ideas.
Exactly. Well, not always. It's the question of like, are they successful or are they not? But they tend to be controversial.
It's controversial and ridiculous.
It's really great. Like, like for example, it's not a huge spoiler, but I feel like it's in the trailer. But to help out a pizza delivery service. Have you seen this one?
Yes.
To help a pizza delivery service, they set it up where he makes an ad that the delivery will be there in 10 minutes or less, or else you get a free pizza. So obviously that's a crazy ad. No one's pizzas come in 10 minutes. Obviously they know they're gonna be paying them out. So what they did was they made a ton of little tiny mini pizzas that are like have enough room for like 2 pepperonis on them, and those were the free pizzas that they gave to people as like a loophole in the system. And then they filmed people's reactions, and some customers thought it was funny. Some customers wanted to commit assault on the driver. Yep. So wide range of reactions.
And that's his whole show, really.
Yeah, and there's basically 2 or 3 different scenarios per episode, 30-minute episodes. I absolutely love that.
I love shows like this where it's like you get like public, like actual pranks where you get public reactions. And Practical Joker's another one that I've loved for a while.
But it's way more, so think about Impractical Jokers, they're a lot lighter, kind of like more verbal based. Like he actually like gets his hands in businesses and fucks with them, essentially.
Yeah. And so it's my favorite dinner show right now. So
that's
just
great.
like eating dinner
It's a good dinner show. That's a good dinner show.
Throw it on.
Yeah, I already am thinking the season opener for season 2 is one of my favorites. So I'm excited to hear your reaction to it. Which I want to make sure I get this right. It's the car mechanic one. Have you seen that one?
No.
All right, good. I'm right. It's the season.
I think I saw season 2, episode 2, but I think I skipped episode 1 for some reason.
Oh, don't do that. You gotta watch.
Maybe I had an issue watching it or something.
You gotta watch the car mechanic one. Okay. Long story short, he implements a lie detector test on the car mechanic to prove that the quotes they're giving are accurate. And imagine how that could go wrong. It sounds good in theory, which is how a lot of these things work. They sound good in theory, but in practice, not so great. And he has another HBO series called The Rehearsal, which is like a 5-part special that's on HBO as well. I highly recommend after you finish Nathan For You, watch that because it's very much a cousin of that show. Yeah. It's basically one super prank stretched out over 5 episodes, which is nuts. So, I'm so glad you watched that. Cool.
Awesome. So, that has been my number 1 show right now.
Awesome.
My number 2 show, which is kind of like my guilty pleasure.
Oh, here we go.
You've also showed me.
Okay.
Is It Cake?
Is It Cake? Dude, I just finished season 2. Awesome.
Okay, so this is, guilty pleasure show.
No,
definitely. Awesome. I was so shocked because season 2 actually stepped it up.
They had more stakes.
Somebody got eliminated every single episode. Yeah. I feel like there were like less decoys. It was way easier to tell and narrow it down to which one is Cake.
Yeah.
I feel like the people who were making the cakes were better, because there was this one guy with green hair that smoked everybody in the first season.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, you're 100% right. I think the season 2 was a very big step up from season 1.
And they also delved into people's backstories and what they wanted to win money for, and made you attached to the people who were in the show.
Yeah, I agree. They did a really good job. I think just aesthetically, it's a very pleasing show. It's a lot of bright colors, a lot of fun. All the contestants are very positive with each other.
Yeah.
Like there's a competition going on, but you almost wouldn't even tell if you just saw them baking.
Yeah.
Which is, it's fun compared to another show I'm going to talk about later, which is a little bit of a different type of cooking show. But no, I'm glad that you watch it, because I love Is It Cake. It's fun to play. It's fun to play yourself.
Play along,
You know, I'll have it as a second screen a lot of times. Like I'll be playing Madden or something on PlayStation, and we'll have the iPad going. I always pause my game when they bring out the cake. So I'm like, all right. And I think it's 1, 3, and 6. Press the buttons. Press the buttons. Oh my God! Did you lose your mind when the freaking judges didn't hit the buttons in time? I was like, what a cop out. Like
it happened so many times.
It happened way too many times. They have to have some type of shot clock or something up there. I will say too, I love the host. Like some hosts on these shows are too corny, too gimmicky, too much. I feel like he's right at the right balance. He gets a little extra sometimes, don't get me wrong. But in general, he's pretty good with his jokes.
He's entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, he's an SNL guy, which, you know, usually is a good sign, you know. But yeah, I think he was great. I think they did a good job with the guests too. The guest judges that come on, they do a good job of having people that you would recognize. Like, they're not A-list people, but they're solid B-C listers.
But they're like, oh, I've seen their comedy show. Exactly. They're like, oh, I've seen them before.
Yeah, they had Meredith from The Office. Like, stuff like that. Like, just good people you recognize. Like, they're not all of them. Like,
or like some like other people from SNL or some comedians. Like just
there's some social media people. Like there's a TikTok family on there for the one episode.
Oh yeah,
just a fucking waste. Who are
I know who they are.
Who
they have like hundreds of millions of followers. I think the one girl's like 140 million.
What do they do?
They dance.
Follow me, America.
Where's his follower?
Follow me, America.
I don't think you're that attractive.
Follow me. I'm not talking about being attractive. I'm dancing, motherfucker. Once again, glad that you're watching some of these awesome shows, and that we can share those moments together. And you know, it's such a stupid thing, Is It Cake? But it's amazing how fun it is. You know. But first show I want to talk about that I've totally been absorbed with. Oh, sorry. I take it back. Yeah. The first show I want to talk about that was a huge deal for me, came out at the end of May, I believe, was season 3 of I Think You Should Leave. And I showed you a few episodes from episode 1, I think maybe the first episode or 2. But it's a sketch comedy show that's on Netflix from Tim Robinson, who used to be an SNL member. It is my favorite sketch comedy show ongoing right now. I'm somebody, I've always loved sketch comedy. Like, I'm talking about watching Mad TV in the 90s. Like that. Like literally 8 years old watching those sketches. Probably shouldn't have been doing it. But loved SNL, loved MTV. Like, just loved growing up with all. And then grew up and on YouTube, you're watching stuff like Whitest Kids That You Know, people like that. And so I've always been a fan of sketch comedy. And I think right now, I Think You Should Leave is at the peak. Like, they're at the top of the game. I think everyone else is chasing.
They want to be them.
Yes, because I mean, it's just top tier comedy. And it's not too much. They do 6 episodes, or each one's like 15, 20 minutes. You can fly through a season in under 2 hours. But I'm telling you, they're the only sketches I feel really get better and better and better every rewatch. So I've watched this season probably 4 times through by myself, just loving it. And then like picking out episodes to show, or picking out skits to show my wife, and then I'll show her those. And you know, they have them on Netflix, on YouTube. They have like clips of the different skits. So if you wanted to just try one out, I would suggest doing that first. You're already on YouTube. But highly suggest you go and watch it. I know it's already way up your alley. I showed it to you before. You 100%. Loved it. Season 3, I personally believe the front half of the season is just jam-packed with studded, like, amazing sketches. The back half is more hit or miss. It's a little bit more unbalanced compared to seasons 1 and 2. But overall, when you sum it all together, I think it's as strong as season 1. I think season 2 is the best by far. It's just on a whole nother level. But yeah, I would 100% recommend.
It's on Netflix?
Well, it's on Netflix. It's a Netflix program, so theoretically we'll always be on there. So yeah, definitely check that out. I think it's amazing. It's definitely more offbeat, and not everyone's gonna enjoy every sketch. And for me, I'll tell you straight up, sometimes it takes a second watch or a third watch of a sketch for me to truly enjoy it and get the full joke. So just highly suggest that. I would ask you if you're gonna watch it. I'm just gonna tell you, watch it. Like if you liked my other suggestions I've been giving you, follow through on that one too, because I would love to do the references from that show with you, because there's so many quotable lines. I absolutely love it. So another show that, this is just me and my wife, guilty pleasure. We just love Gordon Ramsay in general, and he's been around for a very, very long time. But we've been going back and watching Kitchen Nightmares and Hell's Kitchen, and the reason we're doing that is because we had Hulu back in the day, and back when this is years ago, back when we had that, they had all of Gordon Ramsay shows, but they only had the later seasons. So it was like season 10 on, season 11 on, whatever. Now we're on Prime, and we have Prime, and on Prime they have all of the seasons. So we haven't seen any of the old seasons. So we're going back and watching season 1, season 2, like going back all the way through, and then eventually we'll catch up to where we were, and then it'll be cool to rewatch those seasons. But just want to re-emphasize how amazing those shows are and how much fun, and also you learn. It will help you be a better, if you like to cook, you will watch that and you'll get a better sense of things to do, how to store meat just on a basic level. Don't store cooked meat with raw meat. Like stuff like that you may not know if you're a young person or haven't worked in a restaurant. You know what I mean? If you are planning on working in a restaurant or want to work in a restaurant, something like that, I would watch those shows. Are they 100% realistic? Of course not. But it will give you an idea of what the pace is like, the energy's like, because that's real. I've worked in a restaurant, I've worked in a bar. I know what that feels like. It is fast paced, it's intense, people are cursing, people don't give a shit. It's people fucking walk out, people don't no call all the time. Like it's one of the biggest industries in terms of turnover and stuff, and it's for a reason, because it's hard to work there. So it's a naturally thrilling show. My wife enjoys cooking, and so it's a nice thing for her. She's a little inspired and stuff like that, but mostly for me, it's to watch Gordon call people donkeys and stuff like that. It's great entertainment. It ages really well, because you still cook, like, the dishes might change a little bit, but it's fucking food. Like, everyone loves food, So
everyone does love food.
Yeah, if you haven't given it a shot before, or maybe you think Gordon's too much, he screams and yells and is nuts. There's plenty of times where either he's not around and it's just about the contestants fighting with each other, which is just great reality TV. Or there's other stuff where they're doing like prizes and rewards, and he's going out to dinners with them.
So when you mentioned that you wanted to mention a show that was the opposite of Is It Cake, is this it?
This is it, because it's literally everyone's at each other's neck. Gordon Ramsay's screaming at everybody, and he's the host, you know what I mean? And so it's just that tension is always high. But as a viewer, it's just fun, because they're in the tension. I'm not tense. I'm enjoying just watching you guys have a fucking meltdown. But it's great. You get to talk shit. Like, Susan's so dumb. Why would she do that? Like, it's great. I love just being able to do that. I don't watch a lot of reality TV. That's my garbage. That Is It Cake, stuff like that. Yeah. Stupid shit. And this last one, this is just gonna be quick, because I'm only 4 episodes in. But one of my best friends has been telling me, Alex, dude, you have to watch The Boys. And I was worried, because we've talked about it on the channel before. I kind of have issues with blood and gore, depending on how it is. But what I did was I just did a little immersion therapy. I just went on YouTube and looked up some of the goriest scenes from the series, and I just watched a couple and saw if I can handle it. Turns out I can. So
awesome.
Yeah. So I started the series. I'm through the first 4 episodes in the first season. So I'm like halfway through the first season, and I am in love.
I need to watch
with this show, dude. It is. I will say there's a lot of politically charged stuff in there. So if you lean one way or another, or like if you're full charge one way or another, you might have an issue or two with it. It definitely leans a little left. But I mean, personally, I don't really care. So, but if you're a politically charged person, you might have some issues. But it's a very modern show. There's some Me Too stuff in there, but it is very intense and very critical of the superhero genre and industry and capitalism and just what am I thinking of? Just national pride being maybe too much, like things like that. They bring in the religious angle. There's a lot of heavy stuff in there, but it is a great, in my opinion, probably Prime's best show that I've watched.
I'm gonna have to watch it.
Yeah, but to be fair, it is very intense and there's some gory stuff in it, but it's all fast and it's very CGI, so you can tell it's it's fake. There's like some of it's just made me laugh. Like it's so crazy and ridiculous. It's so over the top. It's more like Tarantino blood. You know what I mean? It's like Kill Bill type shit. You know what I mean? Where it's like, you know, a head will explode or like, you know, something's crazy as blood spurting. It's not like nuts. You know what I mean? So it's not like Hostel or Saw. So
it's just very over the top, like kind of comedic.
Yeah, and what's cool is by kind of branching out and giving that a shot, now I'm even a little bit more open-minded to watching some other stuff that I've been kind of closed off from for those reasons. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think it's just a good strategy on my part to, you know, watch some scenes out of context and see what the gore looks like on a small video on a phone, and then where there's not as much detail and stuff. You know what I mean? And then I can kind of look away real quick and move on from there.
One thing also that's wanted me to watch the Boys series is that in the new Mortal Kombat game, one of the DLC characters is going to be Homelander, which is awesome.
Oh yeah!
I think there's so much potential, and
so many characters.
I'm gonna want to see the Boys to, you know.
Yeah, no, I think it is a more serious show. But I mean, you're about to be 16. I mean, you're at the point now. Like, you deal with that shit. Yeah. There's some sexual shit. There's some stuff might go over your head, but that's fine. It's fine. You'll enjoy the explosions and all the fun stuff.
I'm not 5. I'm driving in a few weeks.
Well, see, you gotta pass the test first. Don't get too cocky. Thank you if you have sat through all of this for some reason. We're now going to talk about a little bit of our personal lives, what we had going on so far this summer. Give you a little peek into our lives in case you're curious. Mason, you want to get us started off? What have you been busy with?
So I'm turning 16 in 8 days, which means on my birthday I'm taking my permit test to drive.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting.
So
it's really cool.
I've only driven in a few parking lots so far, so you can say I'm a pro.
I won't have to pick you up and drop you off after these fucking
How cool would that be?
It's going to be pretty sweet. I'm pretty excited about it. I was joking with our parents about how much free time they're going to have after you guys get your licenses. Because when I got my license, you guys were 1.5 years old. So they didn't really have, they were like, oh, we got all this free time now.
Yeah.
No, it was all spent on you guys.
So then once we're like getting our own rides, they're not going to have to worry about it. And
it's going to be different. They're probably going to start drinking more.
I don't see why not.
I mean, why not, right? Just fucking retire, start hitting the peace pipe, enjoy life. You don't have to worry about these kids anymore. Get the fuck out. 2 years, you'll be out in college, and then it'll be a whole nother world.
And also on my birthday, I'm picking up a dog.
Yeah.
A new puppy.
Not just him, the whole family's getting it. It's not going to be just his dog in his room. It's the family dog. Actually, in 2 years, it's not going to be his dog really at all, actually.
Yeah,
he's going to go to college. So it's definitely not his dog. It's my parents' dog that he's going to get to be around.
We're picking up
sometimes.
a dog, a little puppy. It's a golden doodle, about maybe 8 weeks old at this point.
Yeah, you guys are getting them basically as young as you can.
Yep.
Yeah.
A little girl named Callie.
Yeah. Oh, that's a cute name. I do like that name.
Yeah, with a C, like California.
Yeah. Oh, I think people figured it out.
It's spelled C-A-L-I, not with a Y.
You know what those? I bet you some people spell it C-A-L-L-I-E.
Yeah, I can't imagine at a vet. Her name's gonna be spelled wrong so many times.
Yeah, well,
it's gonna be spelled with a K. It's gonna be with a.
People shouldn't be spelling with a K. I don't know where they get that. That'd be silly.
You'll be surprised.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess Callie is. I don't know any dogs named Callie, but I don't know. We don't live in California either. I bet you in California there's probably a lot more Callies.
I mean, I don't know if people want to name it after the state they're in.
They might.
Like in Pennsylvania, we name our dog Penn.
Well, you could. I can guarantee you there's a dog in Pennsylvania named Penn. I guarantee there's at least one. Especially someone who graduated from Penn. I guarantee one of them is that egotistical. meet my dog Penn.
Named after the writing utensil.
Yes. Named after the prestigious university I attended. Penn. Have you heard of it, Penn? I got a puppy too. So. I just didn't wait around for mine. A whole different situation. You guys literally got a puppy from a litter that couldn't be taken from their mom yet. Yeah. I got a rescue that was a stray down in Tennessee that needed a home.
Well, good for you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm saving the world. You guys, you need a boutique dog. So No, to be fair, I understand. Kim did not have the best rescuing experience, and I don't think she wants to go back into that world at the age of 50 or whatever. So, my wife and I, we rescued our second dog. We already had one dog named Ember, who we've had for a few years now. She's 2.5 years old. But we just rescued a 5-month, he's 6-month-old now. We rescued he's a terrier mix. His name's Buster. He's a sweet, very loving boy. He loves everyone in our house, including our cat. He's getting along better with our cat. At first, he wasn't around cats before, so he wanted to chase her at first. But now they're a loving little family. Everything's good. You know, we've had him for a little over 3 weeks now, and he's adjusted really well, really well. So I'm hoping that you guys have a good transition process when you get your pup in a week, and you guys are definitely gonna be coming over. So
and I'm hoping that Callie will be good friends with Buster and Emma.
Oh yeah, they definitely will. Yeah, and so I'll toss this out there too. This summer, I also got a new fence, or it's not a fence. So got a fence put in the backyard.
How exciting.
Which that was a lot of yard work, a lot of prep, a lot of stuff getting ready for the house. But once we got that, we got the fence, and then once we got the fence, we already knew ahead of getting the fence we wanted the second dog. But so once we got the fence, we got the second dog, and now we're loving life. So
awesome.
Yeah, so just a lot of just like yard work, maintenance, all that stuff. Did have a couple other fun things I did. I went to last week. I went to a concert. Went to Fall Out Boy and Bring Me the Horizon opened for them, and that show fucking rocked, man.
Really?
Yeah, it was in Camden. It was in it was in the amphitheater. So like the lower level is all covered, like near the stage and stuff, and then in the back it's like an open field. It's all picnic style and stuff. It's really freaking cool. You can bring blankets and lawn chairs.
And going off of that, I went to the Drake concert.
Yeah,
which is awesome. First ever concert. Drake and 21 Savage.
Yeah, it's not a bad first concert.
Yeah,
not a bad first
awesome.
concert. Yeah, and you were at the in Philly at the Wachovia Center, I would imagine, right?
Well,
or not the Wachovia. You see the Wachovia? Oh my God! Oh man, it used to be the Wachovia Center. Really? Wachovia used to be a bank. Wachovia was bought and acquired probably back in like 2008, and I just forgot about it. I still call it. Well, it's the Wells Fargo Center, so it's WW. So I still get it mixed up with Wachovia Center sometimes. That's what it was when I first moved down here. This isn't making the video. So, but no, that's really cool. It's a lot of fun getting to go to your first concert. And now you got your first one under your belt. Now you can start doing more of your own. Because full disclosure, you were with your parents for that first concert, which is normal. That's totally normal. Your first concert probably should be with your parents because some shit goes down at concerts.
Yeah.
I saw Mason the day after the concert. He looks at me and says, they weren't following the no smoking policy.
Well, I didn't say it like that. I didn't say it like that.
Are you telling me they were smoking marijuana cigarettes at the Drake concert? Are you telling me 21 Savage fans like to puff the ganja? The devil's lettuce was everywhere.
It was everywhere, Alex. It was very stinky, and I'm not like it.
This is a new reality you're gonna have to face with going to concerts. That is a reality. Your first concert, you gotta realize, especially now that weed is legal in so many places, it's around. There's a lot of it. It was like that 40 years ago. It's just funny because like your parents don't tell you about that. Like, oh yeah, we saw this show, this show. Like my dad's told you, he saw AC/DC and like he saw those heavy rock bands in the 80s and stuff. You think he was sober?
I thought he would have had a glass of water.
He was the DD, actually. He brought everyone home safe. Yeah, I've known my dad for 31 years. I don't think he's ever been DD. The whole time I've known him.
But yeah, with that under my belt, I'm excited to see what other concerts I'd be interested in going to. Because my parents are going to a Zac Brown Band concert this fall.
Zac Brown Band, woo!
And they're like, do you want to go? I said, no. So
I'm too cool for Zac Brown.
I am too cool. So they're like, why? I think you'd have fun. I don't think I'd have very much fun.
Yeah, no.
You don't really like. You just like kind of like sing along.
A country show with your parents is not in my top 10 concert going experiences.
I don't think it's in my top 50.
I haven't gone to a concert with my parents. No, I took my dad to see Metallica. That's different. That's cool.
Different. Yeah.
That was cool. That was his 50th birthday present. That was an ace job on my part. But like, no, I don't think I'm ever gonna see a concert with your mom ever again. We just like two different things. We're totally into different interests. You know what I mean?
Especially like country at a concert setting.
Yeah.
It's not very thrilling.
Well, it can be if you go somewhere and you can drink, but you're not even 16.
Yeah.
You can't really enjoy the full-fledged concert experience. You know what I mean? Like, you're not even old enough that you can, I mean, you're getting close to the age where you can just drive with some friends and get fucked up in the parking lot. But I'm not going to advocate for that. I am not going to advocate for that. There's too many bad drivers on the road. We don't need teenage drunk drivers out there as well. One other thing I should mention, I think my wife might be mad if I don't mention this. Our anniversary is on the 4th of July. So we did celebrate, my wife and I celebrate our second marriage anniversary, which is super awesome. You know, the more years you rack up, the more credibility you get as a husband, you know. Like, I'm still early enough, people aren't really impressed with
That
2
husband
years.
cred.
Yeah, no, but so for real, like, you know, like it's probably in movies, I don't think you would know anybody that's old, but they're like, this couple has been together for 50 years.
Yeah.
And everyone, it's like a standing round of applause, like, oh my God. Like, I'm looking forward to that day. I really hope I reach that point. Right now I'm at 2. No one gives a fuck. No one gives a shit at 2. Maybe at like 5. People be like, all right, you guys are like, that's actually starting to get there. You know what I mean? I don't know. Nowadays, though, so many people get married. What, 50% of people get divorced in the first year or two? Like, we made it.
Now it's a 1% chance.
It's not 0. It's a lot lower. That's terrible. Maybe I shouldn't have brought this up. She might be more mad that this is the way that this discussion went. We had a really nice anniversary.
The only thing we joke about is divorce.
We had a really nice trip. We went in this like we had an Airbnb in a rural area down by the Pennsylvania and Maryland border. It was all farmland, and we went to some breweries and check out farms and went hiking and stuff. It was a lot of freaking fun. We had a really good time. Just unplugged, left the dogs at the doggy daycare, and we were golden. But yeah, so I just wanted to highlight that. I love my wife very much. And if we do these summer catch-ups every year, I'll make sure to mention our anniversary.
And mention the percent chance of divorce.
And they'll keep dwindling. Unless we get divorced.
Then it'll go down.
100% actually. It'll skyrocket. Thanks for checking out this video, fellow backtrackers.
Like, subscribe, ring the bell, do all that.
Yeah, if you got a video or a movie you want us to cover, like, just let us know in the comments.
Follow Instagram, Facebook, and all of our socials.
Or don't. I don't really give a shit.